Greetings, everybody. It's your girl, Kiara Washington Speaks, and welcome back to my page. You all, this is kind of going to be a rant video, but my hope and my prayer is that every single person under the sound of my voice receives some type of education, inspiration, or motivation to be able to be all that God has called them to be. If this is your first time tuning into my channel, I have been on YouTube for a little over 7 years. I create a lot of sales content that, by my viewers and subscribers, words of themselves, has been able to help people get jobs in the sales arena. And of course, one thing we know about sales is if you do not have a lot of secondary education or minimal secondary education, getting into the sales arena is a great field to get into. So I wanted to come on here really quickly because I wanted to share something with you all that really kind of resonated with me earlier today, and I really believe it may help somebody. So one thing I want to say when it comes to getting into the sales field and landing a job, right? Because if you're coming across this page, that's obviously what you're looking to do. I want to impress upon you something that maybe you already have that may help you that you may not realize, or at least some skills or qualities that you have that you may not realize that will help you do well in this arena or this industry. So in any industry, they have something called hard skills versus soft skills. Hard skills are basically skills that would be more analytical, technical skills. So say you know how to do programming, say you know how to do analytics and insights and in searches and stuff like that. Say you know how to work customer related software. You know, you're good with your hands, you know how to do technical things. The other side of that would be soft skills. So when we talk about soft skills, we talk about having the ability to be able to do collaborations across channels, being able to be a leader, being able to manage projects, being able to be an empathetic and caring person, being able to influence people to buy or at least consider to buy, right? The hard skills are important. So I don't want you all to think that being a very assertive or somewhat very consultative person does not matter in the sales arena. It does. It's very important, because what you will learn is when you interview, people will ask you questions about, interviewers and recruiters will ask you questions about your hard skills. You know, give me an example of when you had to do ABCD. Share with me a time when 1, 2, 3. See what I'm saying? But let me just impress upon you the soft skills, right? When it comes to building and establishing and nurturing relationships with people, the reason why the soft skills are just as important, if not more important, is because one thing I've learned in being in sales over the last 7 years now is people truly buy from people that they connect with. People buy from people that they like speaking with, talking to, engaging with, looking at, and connecting with. So if you have the ability naturally, or you have learned how to talk to people, learn how to be relatable, learn how to listen, you do well with being able to find solutions because you have a caring and nurturing and kind spirit. These are things that will get you further in just the job market in general. So I want to encourage you all to not leave your personality, your good nature and character on the back burner for simply the hard skills, okay? Or simply just trying to climb the ladder. Now, I've said this several times, but I'll say it again. I have had times in my career where I have done horrible. I have had times in my career where I've been in the middle, and I've had times in my career where I've been at the top. So this is coming from someone who has been all over the board, sales-wise and performance-wise. So I want to impress upon you how important it is to have both. I want to also say this to you too. When it comes to having empathy and putting yourself in someone else's shoes, this is a skill that allows us to be able to take ourselves out of the situation and out of the scenario and to just put ourselves in the mindset of the customer or potential customer we are trying to connect with, we are trying to get the appointment with, we are trying to establish a relationship with. Now, you may have come across several different sales channels, and some people will give you so many sayings, or they will give you so many tips and tools or strategies on how to turn a no into a yes and get the appointment, get the meeting, get the sale. I'm a wholehearted believer in these tactics. I have used a lot of these tactics, and I think for the majority of the time they work very well if you use them correctly. However, when it comes to doing this work, this is what I've learned in order to avoid burnout. One thing you have to learn is being consistent, okay? Consistency wins the race. I don't care what anybody says. The only way you can eat an elephant is one bite at a time. So consistency really wins. However, understanding that having a heart for people is very important when it comes to being in people-centered industries is very key. Because when you are connecting with people, when you are building relationships, when you're making phone calls, when you're going to appointments, people want to know that you actually have a soul. They want to know, they know that you're there for something. They know that you want to pitch something to them. They know you want to sell something. They know you're calling because you want them to do business with you. But at the end of the day, majority of people want to feel like they're buying and not that they're being sold to, which means allowing yourself to learn more about people, what their needs are, learning more about being consistent, even if they don't have the time to speak to you right now or engage you right now. Your fortune is in the follow-up. So if you are following up, if you're being consistent, if you are being understanding, but understanding that you have to continue to be consistent, you will get where you need to get to, okay? Lastly, before I get off here, I want to remind y'all of another thing. Sales is not for everybody, okay? It's a very, very, very difficult and hard career. And as someone who has had burnout a few times, and someone who has done horrible, but someone who has done very well, I can express to you this is not for everybody. But I will say this, with anything that we do, we have to learn how to take the things that we have learned and we have studied, and we have to learn how to implement them over time. If you try something for 7 days, 14 days, 30 days, that may not be long enough to see if the wheels are actually turning. Sometimes you have to try a strategy for 60 days, 45 days, 90 days, and you have to be extremely consistent, authentic, but also diligent in your task. And as you do this, what you will learn is that there may be certain substitutions where you can remove something small and add something else. Or as you get to a point where you've worked this thing for 30, 45 days and you realize it's just not working, now you realize how you may need to change the dynamic altogether. So I want to impress upon you, work the things that you're doing, remain consistent, and the things that you truly want out of life will happen for you, okay? Last but not least, I appreciate everybody who has been commenting, engaging, and following you all. It means a lot to me because my page has been up for a little over 7 years, and I get so excited when I hear that people are landing interviews, getting jobs, and starting new careers and making the money that they truly desire to make, okay? So if I don't say that enough, I want to say it again, because like I say all the time, you know, as long as someone's getting something out of the content and is resonating with them, my work here is done, okay? All right, y'all. Please make sure that if you have any questions, leave them in the comments, and be sure to like and subscribe to the channel if the content resonates with you, okay? I'm your girl, Kiara Washington Speaks, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.